The school is the implementation of the church's mission, which is to worship and love and serve our Lord Jesus Christ through the Anglican tradition and our unique choral heritage. That means the choir school. It also means that the choir school completely shapes what the church is.
We have boys from 3rd grade through the 8th grade, which says, from 8 years old to 14 years old.
It's not really a school with a choir. It's a choir with a school. It houses, nurtures, and educates the boy choristers of St. Thomas Church.
Oh, so many things make the school unique. First of all, if you think about it, this is a school of 40 boys in these, 5 grades, broken down into subject areas and things like that, where there are typically 5 or 6 boys in a class. So the quality of instruction and the intensity of instruction and academic preparation is just hard to imagine in the education system today in this country. Secondly, there's the aspect of the music. They're singing services. On Sunday, they sing at 9, 11, and 4. And then during the week, they're singing evensong Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There are rehearsals associated with that. They're taking theory classes. They're taking instrument as well. So the depth of knowledge that they have about music and their ability to sing above and beyond just the academic preparation is quite phenomenal.
My mom knew a person that she works with who went here, and she told me to audition.
3 things that come into admissions. The first is, can he sing?
I sang in my church choir, and I sang in this other choir called Trenton Children's Choir.
I hear anybody who's interested informally, first of all, and just to see if they have the musical potential that it would take to be a chorister here. If there seems to be the making of a good voice and a particularly good musical ear and the ability to pick notes out of chords, to match pitch and so on, then we'll invite them back for a more formal voice trial.
I sang Lift Every Voice and Sing. About 2 days later, I realized I made it. I passed the first audition, and I was jumping. And then for the second audition, which I got to sleep over for 2 nights.
There's also a psychological screening. Can the child do the schedule of the rehearsals? There will be another rehearsal before evensong in the evening. The classes, the activities, and then the performance. That requires a fair measure of composure and maturity.
They work with my colleagues, with the voice teacher, and then on Saturday morning I'll hear them again. And on that basis, and also on the basis of academic testing, if they appear to be up to it, then we'll invite them to become a chorister.
That took about a month for them to find out, and I was at my violin lesson. My mom got a call that I made it, and so I was in the car, and my mom said I got a call, and I said if I made it, and she said yes, so I was screaming in the car and crying in the back seat. It was a really big moment.
When I first came to visit the choir school, I remember having a dorm stay here, and I remember it being the most fun thing that I had ever experienced to that point. I remember the first few weeks not being homesick in the least because I was so busy with friends and new friends and with all of the activities during the day here.
It becomes a very full day, especially if we have sports, because then it's really nonstop from morning till evening.
The typical day at the choir school for the faculty that are on duty requires getting up for breakfast with the boys, making sure they're there on time, they're out of beds, they're not dragging, and then after breakfast making sure they're at choir on time.
As far as the choir is concerned, a typical day would be in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when we have evensong sung at 5:30 in church. And so we begin the day with a rehearsal here in school, just for the boys, at 8 a.m. until 9:15.
After choir, the academic day begins. 4 to 5 periods in the morning, each 45 minutes. 4 periods in the afternoon, each 40 to 45 minutes.
Usually I'll teach Latin in the morning, then eat a delicious lunch downstairs and move on to PE, which is something I love because you get to see the boys into very different lights. There's in the classroom when they're working hard and they're focused, and then you get to totally change pace and just have a lot of fun with them, working on their sports skills, their basketball skills.
We play other schools. We have practice three days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In the winter, they do basketball. In the spring, they're doing track. I definitely view the sports as I think they get competitive for the games, but I'm more along the lines of this is a time where we can have fun and you can become better players.
Then after the day is done, especially if you're on duty, you will walk them to church for evensong on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and sit at church while they, I would say perform, but while they lead a congregation in worship.
When you sing in the church, you have a feeling that you're doing a duty. You're a component of a working and living church. So the expectation was to be on your best behavior and to sing your heart out because there might be people in the congregation that need your care.
It makes me feel really happy that I'm entertaining people who I really don't know, and they're liking our singing. Like sometimes when they come up for communion, there will be like a tear in their eye sometimes. So I think it really makes their emotions go out.
There's always been a men's choir attached to the choir of St. Thomas, and a lot is expected of them because of the sheer amount of music that we get through, and a certain amount of choral experience is required. So they need to be very fluent readers, as well as having voices of the quality that we seek, of a blending quality, but yet also able to step up and sing really very demanding solos from time to time.
And then the boys come back, it's dinner, study hall for either 1 to 2 hours.
With study hall and being available when they're working on homework and stuff, it's a huge help as a teacher just to sort of be available, when they're doing your assignment. You can do so much more kind of hands-on work with them, particularly for English. When I'm teaching writing, it's so valuable for me to sit down with a kid for 10 minutes and just talk through what's going on their particular essay.
But also I can do things with the kids I couldn't do if they were living at home. For example, going up to the roof with a telescope to look at the stars.
Then they're up to bed, lights out, 10:30, and that's it.
Come on, what you want to do? Okay. Come on, over the sink. I don't want any toothpaste on my shoes, please.
Most of the job is mum work. It can go from anything from getting the boys out of bed in the morning to finding a pair of shoes or a lost sock.
Oh, look, I found him. Hiding under your pillow.
It's really fun, but last year I would get homesick a lot. They would come up and they'd tell us these things we could play little games to get them out of our minds and stuff. And they give us something called a hottie pack. It's this really small pillow this big with lambs on it, and it does wheat in it, and it gets really hot, and it makes you feel a lot better. And they'll rub your back and stuff if you're really homesick.
We're just here, and we're here overnight, particularly if there's emotional problems, homesickness.
But I'm starting to really get over that to the point where I wouldn't call my parents. I'd be not homesick at all. And I really don't get homesick that much. This is just I put a blanket here because there's like white and it looks boring. So I just put a blanket there. Because it always gets hot at night too, so it kind of blocks off the air too.
You are not trying to take over a parent's role. It is a very different role in that perspective. Every parent wants the best for their child. And we want the best for their child, but it does happen within a group. Come on. Whee! Oh my gosh. Are you warming up there?
Yeah.
Okay, no. Oh, good. We're always here. We're always available. We are happy anytime to answer questions. We're always available for the children, day or night.
It feels like a home and a family away from home. It shows me that other people care about me when I'm not in my family.
We live here, so, we have the classes and the dorms, so it's a very small community, so we're all good friends, everyone knows everyone. Then there's the music, and that really helps us, that brings us together more, I would say.
Each boy learns an instrument. A lot of them learn the piano, some learn cello, some learn violin, so at least one instrument. And then also every boy has an individual vocal lesson each week.
So 3rd through 8th, they all have private lessons. The younger boys, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, I see privately for 20 minutes each week. And the upper school boys I see for 30 minutes privately, as well as I attend one choir rehearsal one morning a week to warm them up as a group. And the idea there is that we sort of bring what we're doing from the lessons, bring it into the choir space, and then I get to walk around and watch them and see, are they applying the things that we're working on?
As the repertory becomes more familiar to them, then the confidence begins to kick in. And by the time they're in 6th grade, I always regard the 6th graders as sort of the engine room of the choir, because it's when their voices are really, not at the peak of their development, but when they've really got the bit between their teeth and sort of fairly gung-ho about it and just want to, make an impact on the sound. Once they hit 6th grade, in 7th grade the voice really blossoms and develops. In the 8th grade it's an unpredictable, we can never guarantee who's going to last the course. Some manage to last the course and sing right through to graduation at the end of the year. Others unfortunately don't make it and the voices change and they're simply no longer able to sing the soprano line. So they become acolytes, help out with the liturgy in the church. And from time to time some of them have sung as 8th grade with the adults as well, which is also very good if their voices have settled enough. I'm very keen to encourage them to continue to sing.
There are lots of different places to teach voice lessons, in the world, but to have a program like this where I get to work with every single boy, so there's consistency in the technique that all of them are using, and to get to work with them at such a young age is pretty incredible.
My favorite things are the food. The teachers were really nice, and the education is just really good. I like singing really ancient pieces that most kids don't get to, and dodgeball.
A lot should be said about the food here. It's all organic. Our chef has a unique ability not to waste anything. And if they have chicken one night and there's anything left over, which rarely there is, they might have chicken hash 2 nights later, which they gobble down equally quickly. My parents were both education professors, and I remember bringing them here once to tour the school and have dinner with the boys. And they've taught teachers to teach at every level. They've seen educators at every level. And they were just, speechless about this as an academic experience, an academic experiment, and an academic community.
A couple here and I have a few there.
Okay, then that'd be
I teach the 3rd and 4th grade class, which is also known as the reception year at the school. So they come in about 7 or 8 years old in 3rd grade, 8 or 9 years old in 4th grade, and it's their introduction to the school. They'll come in, they'll start out with either history or science or English, And then that's reading, of course. And then in that classroom, it's their homeroom, so we really try to get them to open up their creativity with it. If you go into the classroom now, you'll see that we're developing a rainforest in the entire classroom. They just started reading The Great Kapok Tree. And so with the art teacher, they've come and outlined some brief things about a tree, and they're all now vigorously painting their trees. And then eventually the whole thing will just be brought out and we'll have a full rainforest in there. It takes about 6 weeks to do this. It's a combination of English, science, writing, all of it comes together, mathematics with all the numbers and geography and things of latitude, longitude, those kinds of things. So it's one of those kinds of classrooms where it's theirs. They're the only ones who use the room, which is great, because no one else shares it with them. Because to remember, these kids, they're away from home. They're 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old. There's a safety factor that we have to put in here for them. There's a structure factor that has to go in. And that home room for them, it's literal. You know, it's their home. So if they can construct things in there, build things in there, they'll definitely feel much more secure and comfortable in there. And as I've always said, parents appreciate that as well, because they've got this stability and this place that's theirs.
It was a lot more appealing to learn here than at my old school because the teachers really talk with you rather than talking at you, letting you have some chance to actually learn it, and they don't go on further until you actually grasp the subject.
They see you as their coach. They see you as their teacher, their dorm parent, their a 10 p.m. knock when they're homesick. You know, it's a range of experiences that you have with them, and it pays dividends in the classroom in a huge way. You know, I could throw up just about anything on the board for Latin, and they'll try because they care about what they're learning, they care about their teachers, and they care about their peers. It's incredible to see, and unique to growing up in a boarding community like this.
Because it's so small, and because I am the only English teacher for 5th through 8th grade, I have them every year. And so it's not like a normal school where, you know, if I don't teach them something, I pass them along and then hopefully the next person can do it. It's on me pretty much the whole way through. It allows you to really know the students and to intimately know, everything that goes on with their learning. It's hard to learn writing without having somebody sit there with you and help you with it and work one-on-one with you. But if there's only 3 of you and I've got 40 minutes and we're working on writing the whole time, I can go around and I can spend 10 to 15 minutes with every kid and just, sit there and work with your challenges. And it's much easier for me to follow it as the teacher, what they need and what they have mastered and, where to go.
Some classes are really tiny. We've had classes with as few as a single child for a time. And that allows for, it's almost like having a tutor in some ways. And you really get a feel for how much the kids are capable of and how much attention they require.
And here, if we're writing research papers, we can take the time to individually look at each student. And we can meet them in study hall and help them out then. So the education in the classroom, it's allowed to be fairly intense because everyone's participating in discussion. No one's sheepish because you can't hide behind anyone. So they're playing a very active role in their own education.
I didn't even know that a place like this existed. And when I saw it, I realized not only would I have the chance to teach mathematics, and more than mathematics, but, problem solving and just the ideas and theories behind it, but that I would also get to frame it musically. I can't even tell you how much easier it is to teach fractions to musicians.
There's a certain breed of person that is the St. Thomas choir boy, and you see it in the alumni that come back. They are kind, considerate, and they have a wonderful balance between the understanding that they're one of many and in that many very special themselves.
Being able to form a connection with the kid because you realize that he's away from his parents at a really important period in his life. To be able to step in and be, I like to say I'm a surrogate uncle for these kids, and to really provide them the support, not just academic support, but emotional, psychological support that they would normally get at home, but are getting here instead.
I could be their teacher in the classroom, and then kind of like a coach figure in the afternoons, and then like a big brother at night.
What a wonderful, well-behaved group of well-mannered, intelligent, and driven boys. I'm amazed by them and their just tenacity every day.
Most of the boys end up going away to the nation's finest boarding schools. Sometimes boys and their families decide they prefer for the boy to go back home and go to, generally speaking, a private day school at home.
We have some children who come here and God gave them one gift, and that's that voice. And we've had one or two boys like that, and it was so wonderful to see that develop and to see other gifts flourish while they were here and then go off to a wonderful school, sometimes a music school, sometimes a school like Groton or something like that. It's wonderful to watch that happen.
But what I take great pleasure knowing is when they have left us, when they go on to the school, for high school, they really are in a position where they take leadership roles. Some of them continue to sing, but whatever they're doing, they really are taking leadership roles in these boarding schools and are certainly competitive with any other student in those schools.
I want to be in the Air Force because my dad's a retired pilot.
I'm back in New York right now. I'm currently auditioning for colleges. The goal is to become an opera singer. I hope to sing on the stage of the Met by at least the time I'm 30. If not, I'd love to be a voice teacher. Maybe even someday I could come back here and teach voice. That would be great.
I take violin right now. I'll be a better violinist. I'll be a better singer. Also definitely help me. And I think it will definitely carry with me for the rest of my life. Der Mond ist aufgegangen, die goldenen Sternlein prangen, am Himmel hell und
The truth is, I got into this business for the love of Jesus a long time ago. But what I really love here is the amplification of that into this praise and worship. And I remember when I came here and I first heard them, I thought, this is something that I can give my life to. The time is going to come, but I can't imagine myself without St. Thomas.